Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today or showing you how to make is sweet apple wedges, and they're going to be bottled. And the reasons why I wanted to show you this today is because so many times I'll get a big bag of fresh apples or apples that I picked from the trees. It doesn't matter. They go part bad and then I'm like, I gotta toss them. So today I'm going to show you how to preserve those into the bottles, and then you can use it for so many delicious desserts. So what we'll do now, we'll get started on showing you pretty much the simple method to this recipe. I got some water on boiling here now, and I'm going to put some apple wedges. I'm going to tell you how many. I'll show you that. I'll show you the ingredients we're going to use for the simple syrup. We're going to be bottling those wedges, those apple wedges in. So let's get started. So what I did in advance, I wedged up 6 cups of apple wedges. I'm using Macintosh today. When you cut them, they go brown quick, so put some lemon over them. I'm going to add some more lemon to this. I'm going to put it directly into the boiler with half filled with water. And then once we put them in there, I'm going to be adding in half a teaspoonful of sea salt. We're going to get these blanched first. So right now my water is hot. We're going to get this at a boiling stage. I'm going to sprinkle in half a teaspoonful of sea salt, mix this through. I'm going to put the lid on there and let it blanch or partly cook for 5 minutes. And then we're going to make a simple syrup. So make sure you put at least a half of a lemon over your apples, and that's when you cut them into wedges. So right now what we got here, we got 1 cup of apple juice. I got low sugar because we're going to be using 1 cup of brown sugar. We're going to be using 1/8 of a teaspoonful of nutmeg. We're going to be using 1 teaspoonful of cinnamon, which that is the best ever, and 2 cups of water. So let's just add all of those ingredients into the pot and we get that boiling. So what we're going to do now, we're going to toss in our cup of apple juice, our 2 cups of water, could be warm water or room temperature, it doesn't matter. We're going to be tossing in the 1 cup of brown sugar. If you don't want to use 1 cup, you could use half a cup, that's totally fine. We're going to use our nutmeg and our cinnamon. While you're doing this, before you start boiling it, get your bottles ready. Have them sterilized, waiting for you to put those apple wedges directly into. So I'm going to put this over now onto my damper and get this boiling. So that's pretty much all the steps as to getting ready to make this and get it put into your jars. So what I got here now, I got 3 mason jars that I sterilized in advance, and I got my lids over sterilizing as well. And then what we're going to do when we take these apples off, which I'm going to do pretty soon here, we're going to scoop them directly into the bottles because we want to keep them warm, and then I'll show you what's next. So what we're going to do now is remove the lid from our wedges, our apple wedges. You can see, and they got all the bubbles there. So now you're not going to have those bubbles that's released from the apples into the jars. So now what we're going to do is toss them into the 3 jars I've sterilized. And then we want to do this quick because we want to keep the apples warm. Even though you're going to put a hot liquid over the top, we want to keep everything hot, and then you can put it back into your sterilizer. Okay, that's all you need to do with that. Okay, so that's all I need to do there. What I'm going to do now is reach for my simple syrup, and we're going to get those poured right over the top. All right, this is nice and hot. So you need about 6 to 8 cups of the apple wedges, and it depends on how many you want to make. It doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is start pouring this liquid into the jars. So that's all you need to do with that, to just pour all your liquid into your bottles until it gets about 1 inch or a 1/2 inch to the top of your lid. And that's it. So all we need to do next is take our hot lids, because everything there now is done. The tops is nice and dry. So we're just going to put the lids on, put them on tight, and they're going to go back into the water bath and to seal. So you follow the sealing process. I'm not going to do that on this show because we already got one that you could refer to, but just put it back into the same water bath and then let it go for about 10 minutes, and then take it out and let it go to room temperature. After it's gone to room temperature, then you can store it in a cold storage, or you can put it in the fridge because you might want to use it right away. That's up to you, depending on how many you're going to make. But what I'm going to do is show you what you can use this for. I'll give you one dessert that I would use it for after I got it all bottled and I'm looking for a bottle of these sweet apple wedges. So what we're going to do now, we're going to open up one of the bottles of our wedged apples, or apple wedges, and this is one that I just sealed because I just wanted to show you what you would do after you opened it and you wanted to make a dessert. So I'm going to pour this one into my pot, and I'm going to put together 1 tablespoonful of cornstarch into about 1/4 cup of water. Let's do that now. Okay, so we're just going to pour this on in there, and what I'm going to do is put the tablespoonful of cornstarch into my mason jar, and I'm going to mix that around. And when this starts to come up again now to a hot temperature, I'm going to pour some of it in there because I want it to make a nice silky base to this, because it's going to be a dessert now, not just bottled. So you're just going to pour it on in. So this is when you want to make a nice dessert, or you just wanted to make apple pie. You might want to make apple pie or even apple crisp, a crumble. So you're just going to make it like this, so it's got a nice silky thick base with those delicious apple wedges that was partly cooked. So what I'm going to do now is reach for my cast iron pot, my dessert pot, and show you what I'm going to make. So I got a little cast iron pot here. You could use it for desserts, you could use it for anything savory. So I got it warmed a little bit because I want for this to be a hot and a cold dessert. So I'm going to put it right on into the bowl. Just look at this sizzling there. And then after, I'm going to sprinkle some granola over the top. And then I'm going to put out some frozen yogurt right on top of it and let it melt. I'll just drizzle some more of that delicious sweet sauce that got a nice taste of cinnamon. And now look at this dessert. Now you're just going to want to bottle some. So now what did you think of that dessert? You know what? You can make so many different things with it. And what is so nice about bottling these apple wedges, and you got them in a simple syrup. It's not ready for a pie or a dessert right out of the bottle, but you can eat it like that. You put it back into your dipper or your boiler, boil it as many as you want, a little bit of cornstarch, and then put it into your bowl and have it with ice cream. I like it with frozen yogurt, but I'll have a little taste. The cinnamon taste, you can taste that delicious flavor of the apples. So nice. I'm gonna have one of those apples as well. They're so hot. Delicious. So I hope I got you excited today to make your sweet apple wedges. And remember, it doesn't matter if your apples is part brown or they're just nice and crisp right out of that bag or out of a bin. Cut them up, peel them, cut them up, do the blanching and bottle them, and then have them when you need them. Also, I'm going to provide the recipe for this today in under this video. It's got a subscribe button there here on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, do so. You will see lots of our delicious traditional, non-traditional Newfoundland and Labrador recipes, viewers' requests, and some recipes by me. So this recipe today is one that I do quite often. So I'm glad that you visit us today and you got to see our method. You can also visit us on our website www.bonitaskitchen.com. Send us a message on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. I got Raymond hungry here now to get into this dessert. So without further ado, thank you for joining us here today from our kitchen to yours. You have a wonderful day. Hi, I'm Bonita from Bonita's Kitchen. The next time you're visiting Newfoundland and Labrador, don't forget to visit the beautiful town of North River and its surrounding communities and towns. And don't forget to join us again on Bonita's Kitchen.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours, Bonita's Kitchen.